Good morning. Welcome to the Community Church of Chapel Hill, Unitarian Universalist. My name is Eric Conrad. I am a member of the Worship Associates Ministry here at the church. We want to welcome any visitors or newcomers to the church, and there's a special note for you on the back of the order of service. It's entitled, Welcome Guests and Newcomers. We also want to welcome those of you who are attending online. Lyrics to hymns and all elements of the service may be found on your screen, and a complete order of service, including this week's announcements, is available via the link in the Sunday morning email and on the church website. Our in-person Sunday social is held immediately following the service. Please turn off or silence any cell phones during our service to maintain a worshipful experience. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you arrived at this beloved place, you are welcome here. We have a within these walls, actually we have two within these walls announcement. The annual pledge drive announcement with the Wright family, and that'll be followed by a day of service announcement.
Good morning. I'm Andrew Wright. This is my mother, Dorothy Wright, my wife, Demia Wright, and my oldest child, Tobin Wright. And not on stage, but attending second service, Al, is Fletcher Wright, our other child. You can find them by looking for the most rainbow-colored clothing humanly possible to wear among the 8th graders. Some of you have heard the story already of how I became a UU. We were driving around when I was a couple years old, and my sister looked out the window at a church that had a crucifix and said, "Who is the guy on the T?" And at that point, my mom wisely decided to bring us to get some religious education, brought us to the local UU church in Boston, and then later when we moved here, pretty soon after that, we went to Yeroof, and I grew up at the church, UU church in Durham there.
I grew up in a New England Congregational Church, which is a sister religion to UU, as I've learned here. After many years of not attending church, a friend invited me to go to a UU church the Sunday after 9/11 to explore that church and, of course, find community in that terrifying week.
While we were living in Atlanta, my mom came to the Community Church of Chapel Hill, And so we joined her as a family soon after we moved back to town in 2015. We all came for different reasons at different times. My mother found a music community. Demi and I found a place to make friends in a new town, and for our children to be themselves, learn about UU, maybe who that guy on the T is, take part in leadership opportunities, and most importantly, have fun.
And across the generations of our family, we found different ways to give back to the church. We have a cellist performing on stage, a church treasurer, a youth ministry committee member, a religious education staff member, and of course, SpongeBob, as well as a couple other members of Bikini Bottom. Our family is grateful to the church for everything it has done for us, and we give every year to the pledge drive to help the church keep its current strength and ensure it is here for future generations.
Hello, Director King. How are things going?
Well, they're going very well. We are working through the editing of the 2025 Day of Service at the Movies. The setting is here at the Community Church on March 1st, 2025, marking the end of the annual pledge drive. We have some exciting scenes in the works.
What is the story?
Picture it. Members of the Community Church coming together for food, fellowship, music, and service. The Day of Service is a chance for all of us to gather and live our church's mission and by volunteering our loving hearts and our helping hands within our community, kids and adults.
What a great storyline. I have friends that would love to get involved. How can they do it?
Well, we're still in pre-production phase and casting and crew signups aren't quite ready yet. The screenwriters are still finalizing all the scenes, but they should be ready next Sunday, February 16th. If you want to learn more, you can check out the Day of Service table at the Sunday social after church.
Well, that sounds like a really exciting movie to be involved with. What types of roles will there be?
Many, many kinds of roles, from helping with the blood drive to spring cleaning at Charles House to supporting Meals on Wheels to making pet toys for the annual shelter. They're all really satisfying, and we have many different casting options for different ages and interests.
Wow. Well, let me know when the casting call is, and I'll spread the word. This is going to be a blockbuster.
Yeah, sure thing. All right, back to the production room to get these scenes in shape. Can't wait to see you all at the movies.
As we enter into this time, hear these words by Unitarian. Opening hymn. Sorry, I got things out of order. So the opening hymn is number 1020 in the teal hymnal. Please stand as you're willing and able. Join in the singing. Now is the call to worship. As we enter into this time, hear these words by Unitarian Universalist Kia Bordner. Come together, again gather in love, light the fire of hope, build the foundation. Commit together, again gather in truth, light the fire of freedom, build the entryways. Continue together, again gather in community, light the fire of the future, build the shelter. As we enter into our time of worship, let us give thanks for the values that provide us with a firm foundation. Let us give thanks for the fire of truth which sets us freed, and let us give thanks for the community that holds us in care. Come, let us worship together. The words for the chalice lighting are in the order of service. If you wish to do so, please join me in reading them. We light this chalice in memory of the courage of those who have struggled for freedom, the persistence of those who struggled for justice, and the love of those who built beloved communities to carry the light of hope.
Are they in another room?
Yeah, they're in the trailer room. But, quick.
I think we're ready. Many's the time I've been mistaken, and many times confused.
Yes, and I've often felt forsaken, and certainly misused. But I'm all right, I'm all right. I'm just weary to my bones. Still you don't expect to be a bright and bonny bond so far away from home. So far away from home. I don't know a soul who's not been battered. I don't have a friend who feels at ease. I don't know a dream that's not been shattered. deserted or driven to its knees. But it's all right, it's all right, for we've lived so well, so long. When I think of the road we're traveling on, I wonder what's gone wrong.
I can't help it, I wonder what's gone wrong.
And I dreamed I was dying. I
Dream that my soul
rose unexpectedly, and looking back down at me, smiled reassuringly.
And I dreamed I was flying. And
high up above
the Statue of Liberty sailing away to sea.
and I dreamed I was flying. We come on the ship they call the Mayflower. We come on the ship that sailed the moon. We come in the age's most uncertain hour and sing an American tune. And it's all right, it's all right, it's all right. You can't be forever blessed. Tomorrow's gonna be another working day, and I'm trying to get some rest. That's all I'm trying
To get some rest.
At this time, we are going to honor those who, within the past several months since our last new member recognition in October, have made the decision to become members of our church community. The folks whose names are Rachel's about to read, the 25 names Rachel is about to read, have taken the Exploring Membership class and have decided to join the church as members. As Rachel calls your name, I invite you to come forward and stand at the front of the stage.
Nora Talley, Anthony Budding, Jamie Allison, Ben Gray, Celia Corman, Carol Ritter, Alan Ritter, Tobin Wright, Sharon Mayell, Trish Ruffalo, Tammy Reichert, Rob Frey, Jonathan Rom, Eliza Rom, Fernanda Brito Munoz, Alfredo Rivera Maita, Alex Rawls, Braden Rawls, Moni Marotra, Mark Marotra, Stacy Brower, Christopher Sant, Laura House, John Godwin, Lisa Valdivia.
Good morning. On behalf of the Welcome Ministry, it is a joy to welcome you into the community of memory and hope. Each time we welcome a new member, we become something new. So we ask you, as our newest members, will you promise to walk together with us, sharing the joys and the responsibilities of membership? If so, please say we will. We will. Members of the Community Church of Chapel Hill Unitarian Universalist, will you welcome these people into our congregation? Will you reach out to them in friendship, including them in our activities and fellowship? Will you be open to their unique gifts and perspectives? Will you extend a warm welcome to each of them, remembering that each of us was once a new member? If so, please say we will.
We will. Becoming a member of this church is an important first step, but it's only a first step. We invite you new members to grow in your faith as you find and share your special gifts with us. Ours is a shared ministry. Each of us has a crucial role to play. We need you, and we need your energy and your ideas. As you give generously of yourselves, we all become richer.
Now is the time for gifts. I'm going to invite Rachel to move down the line and offer each of you a chalice pin. And then Kristen and I will follow, offering only a handshake of welcome. And we're going to ask you to remain up front until we've made it down the line, and then we will all enthusiastically applaud.
Freely have we received gifts that minister to our needs of body and spirit. Gladly we bring to our church and its wide concerns a portion of this bounty. If you wish to donate online, there is a QR code on the back of the order of service, and there is information on the church's website. We will now receive the morning offering.
Thank you. This piece called Mantra has an audience or a congregational participation component. So you will know because they will sing, repeat after me, and they will sing something, and then you will repeat it. So that's all I'm going to say for now. Pay attention. This is some good advice.
musical microphones up here. Each week, we hold in our service a time for sharing the joys and the sorrows that we bring with us into this church community. It's during this time, if you've come with either a significant personal joy or a significant sorrow, that you're invited to come forward, place a stone in the bowl, speak your name into the microphone, and briefly share your joy or your sorrow. Let us enter into this time of tenderness and trust. Oh, we've got a lot today.
My name is Mary LeMay, and I'm a longtime member of this congregation. And I would like to present to those of you who've never met my younger daughter, the one that just came back after 32 years, and my grandson, Declan, who was a Marine at Camp Lejeune.
It's great to be home.
Go ahead. Oh, do you want to say anything?
It's great to see. I used to sing in the choir when I was in high school, and it's great to see some of you, and Frog and Toad. I saw Martha Brown, so it's great to be home. Thank you. Did you already do this, Tom?
My name is Declan. I'm her grandson and her son, and it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Kristen O'Daly. I have a joy and a sorrow. Our joy is that our first grandson was born on January 23rd, and few complications, so we're grateful for the medical team in Seattle. Denny Chandler O'Daly, so we're very excited about that. My sorrow is that my husband is in biomedical research, and my daughter, who just had a child, is in climate change research, and their departments are in total disarray, and the anxiety among all the faculty and staff is unprecedented. So just like to keep all these folks in mind.
Good morning, I'm Susan McDaniel, and just for the people who know Pat, she's been in the hospital since Monday with a UTI, pretty severe. She's pissed off, so I know she's getting better. And tomorrow she'll be moving to a skilled nursing facility.
Hi, my name's Kyle Terrell, and a stone for my nephew, Michael. I've just learned that on Wednesday he has to have surgery to remove one of his eyes, and he's at peace with that, but his whole career has been a medic and firefighter, and after surgery he won't be able to return to active duty, and at 43 he'll need to find a whole new line of work. So please keep him for healing and thoughts.
Hi, my name is Thaddeus, and I ask for your thoughts and prayers because if you're wondering who unleashed this hell on the country, it's my family, my extended family, my immediate family. I don't know what's gotten into them, but I feel like I can't reason with them morally anymore. If we can talk, but that's where I'm at, so.
Hi, I'm Martha Brown, formerly known as Toad, a Frog and Toad. I've been here for, since 1983, and my sorrow is that I've left. I'm now in Weaverville, North Carolina, and that's my joy. I live 16 minutes from my daughter, and I see her every other day, and that is such a joy. So it's so nice to be back in town for just a few days, and I just had to come and hear you because he's amazing. So thank you.
You may be in Weaverville, Martha, but Frog and Toad continue on. Next Sunday is Frog and Toad Sunday, so we'll take a picture and send it to you. Tradition continues. A final stone is placed for all of the joys and the sorrows that we hold in our hearts that were not shared this morning. We're going to invite Jen to lead us in a time of meditation and prayer.
We are carrying so many things. This morning, I would like to share a piece written by our beloved congregational minister, community minister, Reverend Lisa Garcia Sampson. It's called Nourished and Transformed. Spirit of life and love, spirit that lives within us and between us and among us right now. Within this beloved community and in our work for collective liberation, may we continue to weave the web of trust and care to keep our bodies safe. But more than that, may our bodies be the site of healing, joy, and freedom. May we refuse to let our spirits be depleted and hardened by the forces of hate. Instead, may we open ourselves to be nourished and transformed by the movement for justice, knowing that our collective story is not what we are fighting against, but what we are fighting for. For ours is the work of creation. Ours is the work of inviting people into an irresistible movement, rooted in our belief that a new world is possible. And the center of our work is love and joy and the spirit of abundance. These are the things we are fighting for. And these are the things we are fighting with. May we know deep in our bones that this is the call of our faith. Amen, and blessed be. Will you join me in a moment of silence? And now, if you will remain seated for our meditation hymn, number 155 in our gray hymnal. It is Circle Round for Freedom.
We'd like to do this twice through. Once we'll just sing the melody, and then we'll harmonize. The melody is the middle line.
Peace.
For as long as I can remember, I have been interested in, fascinated by the philosophy of freedom, the theology of freedom. I love big and impossible and abstract philosophical questions like, do we really have free will? I love discussions of perennial questions like how to balance freedom and responsibility, which is a paradoxical tension in our search for truth and a necessary tension in our lives when we consider that we are both individuals as well as members of an interdependent web. On another Sunday, I might choose to speak passionately about the somewhat recent book by literary theorist Maggie Nelson, who I absolutely adore. The book I'd talk about is called On Freedom, 4 Songs of Care and Constraint. And her book offers 4 extended meditations on artistic freedom, sexual freedom, drug use, as well as the freedom that is found in sobriety, as well as climate freedom, in which she asks provocatively what freedom means in the context of rapidly accelerating climate change. That's the sermon I would rather give, full of abstraction and theory. But it's not the sermon that I must give today. At the outset of her book, though, Maggie Nelson makes an observation. She reflects how during a past era, namely the 60s and 70s, freedom was a rallying cry for progressive people. Freedom was understood to be radical and revolutionary. Free your mind. Free South Africa. Free Angela Davis. There was Freedom Summer, the Freedom Riders, Freedom Schools, women's liberation, gay liberation. All of these much more progressive understandings of what freedom might be. And then, more recently, Nelson notes that the language of freedom has been co-opted by neoliberals and by the political and religious right, who formed organizations like the Alliance Defending Freedom, which does not defend freedom, who passed legislation like the Religious Freedom Act, which doesn't really do much for religious freedom, who've waged wars named Operating Enduring Freedom and Operation Iraqi Freedom, which have not brought freedom, who form the House Freedom Caucus. Who can forget freedom fries? Maggie Nelson mentions in this discussion of freedom a conservative Republican former congressman and right-wing organizer, Dick Armey, who once said cynically, "No matter what cause you advocate, you must sell it in the language of freedom." He named his right-wing organization Freedom Works. And I need not say it did not work for freedom. An Orwellian abuse of language is what it is. Simply put, freedom's meaning can be invoked to represent the most powerful sense of liberation imaginable. And freedom's meaning can also be misused and abused as a stand-in for domination. But I want to get beyond semantics, because real lives and real freedoms are at stake right now in our country and our world. This morning, I want to talk about and lift up 3 kinds of freedom. I want to talk about religious freedom first, and I want to suggest that leaning into the idea of religious freedom may offer us some help during these troubled times. I want to talk about human freedom. 2 of Roosevelt's 4 freedoms were freedom from want and freedom from fear. And expanding from Roosevelt's ideals, I want to lift up a vision of human freedom to counteract the assaults on freedom we are experiencing in this moment. And finally, what I want to talk about, what I'm calling this morning rather imperfectly, soul freedom. Soul freedom I take to mean the freedom that is accessible to us even amidst systems of domination and repression. Let's start with religious freedom, since we're all in religious community this morning. And before I talk about religious freedom, I just want to say that religious freedom is wacky and wild. At its best, religious freedom means the ability of individuals and communities to practice their faith freely. It means our religious practice is free from government oversight and control. There is no government-approved theology that I'm required to adhere to under penalty of imprisonment or worse, as there has been throughout most of human history. Religious freedom in the United States has been interpreted incredibly broadly. And religious organizations are, for better or for worse, exempt from thousands of laws, rules, and regulations. Religious freedom also includes, for better or for worse, the freedom to discriminate. And in at least one case, that's actually a good thing. Let me explain. Suppose all of the other congregations in town had a clergy vacancy. Now suppose I decided that I'd like to apply to be the priest at St. Thomas More. They would be well within their rights to say, we don't want to consider you because you are not Catholic. Just as the Won Buddhist Temple would say, we don't want to consider you because you are not Buddhist. Just as Kahila should have the right to say, no, you're not Jewish. We're not going to accept your application to be our rabbi. And in that sense, actually, that ability to make decisions which could be made in no other setting is actually a good thing. It allows religious communities to be what they want to be. But in so many other senses, freedom is used destructively. Religious organizations are actually exempted from municipal zoning restrictions. My previous congregation in Kansas City is blessed with an extremely large building, and they decided to use a wing of that building to operate a homeless shelter. The city told them the building was not zoned for that purpose. The church sued the town in federal court and won. The town had to not only allow a homeless shelter to be in place, but actually had to pay damages to the church for violating their religious freedom. In several states across the country right now, progressive religious organizations, including Unitarian Universalists, are suing to try to overturn abortion bans on the basis that those laws violate religious freedom. I doubt these cases will be successful. But I'm also struck that courts would say that religious freedom actually is more powerful an argument than our own freedom as individuals. My point about religious freedom here is that in times of oppression and unfreedom, religious organizations may enjoy wider latitude to organize and resist. We should remember that the actions of the civil rights movement was planned in church basements, and the Underground Railroad ran through churches. This past fall, Timothy Snyder released a book which was also called On Freedom. It is a meditation on human freedom. Freedom, he proposes, occurs in movements that track against our development. Freedom in childhood is experienced as sovereignty, which is as the control over our own bodies and beings. Freedom in adolescence is experienced, he writes, as unpredictability, which, if there's any parents of adolescents here, may understand why he makes that point. And then he says that freedom in young adulthood is experienced as mobility, not just geographical mobility, but also economic and social mobility. To these, he adds two more kinds of freedom, which he calls factuality and solidarity. Freedom to have access to the truth is factuality, and freedom to be in relationship with others who are working for freedom is solidarity. I do not need to tell you this morning that freedoms are under assault. Reproductive freedom, freedom from lesbian, gay, bisexual, freedom for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people, academic freedom, freedom from discrimination, scientific freedom, freedom of information, factuality, economic freedom, freedom from want, freedom from fear. We need to be honest about the limitations that are being sought to be imposed upon our freedoms. And I want to end this morning with an idea of freedom that we might hold and that might sustain us. I call it soul freedom. Soul freedom is a term that's been used before, and I use it in a similar, though not identical, sense. For free religious traditions, soul freedom is said to mean your own inner conscience, that still small voice, that little light inside. A Buddhist source told me that soul freedom is liberation from worldly attachments. But this morning, I mean soul freedom in the sense of African-American author Toni Cade Bambara, who wrote, "Freedom is the process by which you develop a practice for being unavailable for servitude." Freedom is the process by which you develop a practice for being unavailable for servitude. That might look like resistance. It might look like civil disobedience. It might look like refusing to follow laws or orders that violate our conscience. It might look like refusing to use language that diminishes freedom. And it might look like not sacrificing our joy. It is possible to dance because you are happy. And it is also possible to dance because you are determined not to let anyone else steal your freedom to dance. So dance you do. I leave you with a quote by James Baldwin, who is a wonderful guide on what it means to be free amidst a world that wants you not to be free. In The Fire Next Time, James Baldwin writes, "I have met only a very few people, and most of these were not Americans, who had any real desire to be free. Freedom is hard to bear." Let me say that again. I have met only a very few people, and most of them were not Americans, who had any real desire to be free. Freedom is hard to bear. I take that quote to mean that freedom, real freedom, means looking without blinking, without looking away at those challenges and restrictions to our freedom that exist in the world, in its principalities and powers, in its systems and structures. So long after we extinguish our chalice and leave this place, let us keep that longing and desire for true freedom burning, ever burning in our souls and within us when we are in community together. Amen. Blessed be. And let us sing because we are free to sing, and dance because we are free to sing. Dance, free to dance. as we join in singing our closing hymn of the morning, I Wish I Knew How. Please rise in body or in spirit and sing together.
The words for extinguishing the chalice are in your order of service. Please join me if you wish to do so. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Let's thank all of those who contributed to making the service worshipful. Please join us in singing Shalom. The words are in your order of service. As you are comfortable, please either hold hands with the person next to you or cross your arms over your heart.
Thank you.